जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडराचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडराचार्य शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the seven devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the seven devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the seven devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, The Appearance of Lord Varaha. Today we have text 27. उत्क्षिप्ता वाला खाचरा कठोरा। उत्क्षिप्ता वाला खाचरा कठोरा। सता विदुन्वन खरा रोम सात्वक। खुराहता भ्रासिता दंस्त्रैक्षा। ज्योतिर्बबा से भगवान महिद्रा। उत्क्षिप्ता वाला खचरा कठोरा। सता विदुन्वन खर रोम सात्वक। खुराहताभ्रासितदंस्त्रैक्षा ज्योतिर्बभासे भगवान महीध्रा उत्क्षिप्तवाला खचरा कठोरा सता विदुन्वन खर रोम सात्वक खुराहताभ्रासितदंस्त्रैक्षा ज्योतिर्बभासे भगवान महीध्रा उत्क्षिप्तवाला खचरा कठोरा सता विदुन्वन खर रोम सात्वक उत्क्षिप्तवाला खचरा कठोरा सता विदुन्वन खर रोम सात्वक Mataji, please chant. उत्क्षिप्तवाला खचरा कठोरा सता विदुन्वन खर रोम सात्वक उत्क्षिप्तवाला खचरा कठोरा सता विदुन्वन खर रोम सात्वक खर कटदरसितदंस्त्रैक्षा ज्योतिर्बभासे भगवान महीधरा Word to word, please repeat. Uttikshiptavala. Slashing with the tail. Khacharaha. In the sky. Katoraha. Very hard. Sataha. Hairs on the shoulder. Vidunvan. Quivering, khara, sharp, romasatvak, skin full of hairs, khura ahata, struck by the hooves, abhra, the clouds, sita damstra, white tusks, iksha, glance, jyotihi, luminous, babhase, began to emit an effulgence. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Mahidhara, the supporter of the world. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Before entering the water to rescue the earth, Lord Boar flew in the sky, slashing his tail, his hard hairs quivering. His very glance was luminous, and he scattered the clouds in the sky with his hooves, and his glittering white tusks. Purport. When the Lord is offered prayers by his devotees, his transcendental activities are described. Here are some of the transcendental features of Lord Boar. As the residents of the upper three planetary systems offered their prayers to the Lord, it is understood that his body expanded throughout the sky, beginning from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that his eyes are the sun and the moon. Therefore, his very glance over the sky was as illuminating as the sun or the moon. The Lord is described herein as Mahidhara, which means either a big mountain or the sustainer of the earth. In other words, the Lord's body was as big and hard as the Himalayan mountains. Otherwise, how was it possible that he kept the entire earth on the support of his white tusks? The poet Jayadev, a great devotee of the Lord, has sung of the incident in his prayers for the incarnations. Vasati dasana sikhare dharani tavalagna sashini kalanka kaleva nimagna keshavadrita sukara rupa jaya jagadish hare. All glories to Lord Keshava, Krishna, who appeared as the boar. The earth was held between his tusks, which appeared like the scars on the moon. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. So continuing beautiful descriptions of Lord Varaha, the boar incarnation. So you see the tusks being mentioned. It seems it's like a wild boar, a wild hog. And there are a few points which are mentioned here in the purport. So we will try to cover some of them. It's not possible to cover all within the time we have. But we can see how Lord is showing his sporting behavior here, like he's flying in the sky and he's slashing his tail and his hairs are quivering, and then his glance is mentioned like a very luminous glance. So he's showing this strength, especially by expanding his body. We see when he was born, he came out of the nose of Brahma, and Brahma didn't know what is this. And then within a short time, he expanded to such a big body, and everyone is like wondering what is going on. So activities of Krishna they are completely transcendental in nature. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutopi san bhutanam ishvaropi san. So Krishna's body is avyaya. It never deteriorates. And when he comes by Atma Maya, by his internal energy. He does not get a body which is awarded by material energy. So his body is completely spiritual, completely transcendental in nature. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself is saying, I do not take a material body. Wherever I go in my spiritual body, transcendental body. And that's why he can change it as he like. So in this avatar, he is showing the body of a boar. Generally, I know some people, they think a hog looks very cute, but probably not to everyone. There are more beautiful and attractive bodies. So generally, people are attracted to qualities. And Krishna, he has transcendental qualities. Sutta Goswami, he explains this to the sages in Naimisaranya. Shonaka Rishi, he questions him. Sukadev Goswami, he was already self-realized person. So why did he get attracted to studying Srimad Bhagavatam? And Sutta Goswami explains by quoting this very famous verse, which Lord Chaitanya explained in, I guess, 64 ways. And at other occasion, he explained it in 8 ways. So that's a famous verse, Atma Rama verse, which I guess all of us should know. Atma Ramascha Muniyo Nirgrantha Api Urukrame. So activities of Krishna, they are like great adventures. Nirgrantha Api Urukrame. Urukrame means great adventurer. So Krishna, he is the most adventurous person. If someone wants to go for adventures, then that's who you want to look for. And then Sutta Goswami explains that all kinds of Atma Ramas means the person who are interested in self-realization, in the self, in understanding the nature of soul, they get attracted to Krishna. Why? Because Itham Bhuta Guna Hari. Qualities of Hari, Krishna, they are completely transcendental in nature. There is no tinge of material activities. And that's why even great personalities like Sukadev Goswami, who is established in self-realization, they get attracted to hearing those kind of activities, those kinds of pastimes. And that's why he actually went back to his father to hear more about activities, hearing about Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what led to gradually Sukadev Goswami speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So here it's mentioned that Lord Boar, because the devotees, all the demigods followed by Lord Brahma, they offered prayers, and gradually they realized that this is the Supreme Lord who is come here to help us in our difficult situation. The earth had sunk down to Garbhodaka ocean, and here is Lord come in a totally unexpected form, but we can understand why he takes this kind of form. What's the reason? And it's mentioned here in the next purport. It's mentioned actually, nature of a hog is to smell, and so it goes down to Garbhodaka ocean to pick up the earth, and he took it out on his tusks, holding between his tusks. And it's amazing, Prabhupada quotes this prayer of Jayadev Goswami, which very beautifully describes this beautiful form of Lord Varaha. And so I was, there's another pastime which kind of similar to this one, where the Lord expands his size of his body in front of everyone. Everyone could see. And it's also another famous pastime where actually Lord appears as Vamana, which is also another, in a way we can say, it's not an ordinary form. Usually you see people of, ordinary heights, but then here is a dwarf. Krishna comes as a dwarf. They are not usually respected for their great heights, but when Krishna comes as a dwarf, he is offered beautiful prayers by great transcendentalists, and he is worshipped by most powerful personalities. So when Krishna, he appears as Vamana, the dwarf Brahmana, when he appeared before his parents, he actually came in with 4 armed forms, completely decorated, just like how Krishna appeared before Vasudev and Devaki in the prison. And again, same thing. Then he changed his form right in front of everyone there. He changed his form to a dwarf. So these are not like imaginations. They are actually real activities which Krishna, when he comes in different avatars, he shows them. Why? Because he likes to have loving exchanges with his devotees. And that's how he attracts devotees. That's how Sukadev Goswami was attracted, just about hearing. And there are actually 3 main verses in Bhagavatam which attracted Sukadev Goswami. And one of them is when Krishna is in the forest with his cowherd friends. What's the first verse? Do you know that one? You know this verse where Krishna is with his cowherd friends, and they are singing his glories. Which one? No. I forget every morning I say this verse. So Krishna is not letting me remember it. Okay. Pretty much what it translates as is that Krishna is surrounded by his cowherd friends in the forest, and they are singing his glories. And he mentions Krishna entering the forest with all these friends. So Krishna likes to be with his devotees and perform all these adventurous activities. So people, they become attracted to him. Not only because of that, but also because that's how he exchanges love with devotees. He creates different kinds of exchanges. So in this avatar here, Vamanadev, he approaches, he heard Bali Maharaj, he was performing a great sacrifice, Ashwamedh sacrifice, and it was organized, it was performed by the Brahmanas from Brigu dynasty. And sorry? Okay, I remember now. Barhapidam natvarvapu karnayo karnikaram bibratvash kanakapisam vajantim chamalam randranvenur shuddhaya puryavan gopavrindir vrindaranyam swapadram nam pravisat gita kirti. So this is from 10th canto. This is one of the verse when Sukadeva Goswami, because he was like a monist, and he didn't want to interact with anyone and anything. He was just absorbed in the self. And when he heard that the most beautiful person, he's performing these great activities, surrounded by these wonderful devotees he has, and they are singing his glories. So this is one of the verses that attracted Sukadeva Goswami. And another one is about how he is so kind, so merciful. He gave mercy to even Putna, who came to kill him. That's a whole different topic. I won't go in that. And third one, I guess I had to wait by the time we finish the class. But here Vamanadev, he heard about Bali performing this great sacrifice, and he decides to show up there. So he goes there, and all these, talking about illumination, it explains how when Vamanadev showed up, the effulgence of his form, it made these brahmanas who were there, great sages, their effulgence seemed very dim when Lord Vamanadev showed up there. And they all stand up, receive him, and then Bali Maharaj, he was like so happy to see him. He was like experiencing great happiness just seeing Vamanadev, this amazing form. And you imagine like the Supreme Lord, he's like a dwarf. I mean, if you see a dwarf entering here, probably, maybe not externally, internally, you'll be like laughing at this person. But there is all these great personalities, and they are like amazed to see this form and showing this effulgence. So there, Bali Maharaj, he asks him actually, because he looked, you look like such a great Brahmana. Please ask me for some charity. We are performing such a great sacrifice here. It will be our great fortune to give you some charity. So there is a whole pastime in the 8th canto, and there it's mentioned how Vamanadev, when he asked Bali, he only asked him for like 3 steps of land, and Bali was like, he was thinking, man, like, you're a small child. You don't know how to ask for benedictions? Come on. You can ask me for gold. You can ask me for like villages with opulence of all the natural resources. You can ask me for like a beautiful girl. You want to marry a Brahmana girl, you can marry as your wife. You can ask for so many benedictions. Please ask. This is like, it's like a child who knows you can ask for so much and you're asking for so little. So what was his response? He said, I am a Brahmana. We only take what we need. And that's all I need. So then, to Bali's surprise and everyone's amazement, he extends his form. And it's mentioned he covered the whole sky and all the 3 planets, because Bali, he had won against the demigods, and he became the most powerful person in the 3 lokas. He became the next Indra. He took the position of Indra. So Bali is like, being glorified, and he's performing all these sacrifices. It's a great event. And there he thinks, this little boy, he don't know how to ask for benedictions. And then he is amazed when Vamanadev, from a dwarf, he covers the whole universe. And it's mentioned, there's a beautiful description how Bali is looking at this form. Wow, it's like encompasses everything. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, the Supreme Lord, he doesn't need anything from anyone because everything exists within himself already. So he doesn't need anything. But still, why does he accept? Because so devotees, they can make loving exchanges. And that's how devotional service is glorified and devotees are glorified. Why? In the purport, actually, Srila Prabhupada is saying that devotee gets the credit just for offering which something that doesn't even belong to them. It actually belongs to the Lord, but just by offering it back, the devotee becomes glorified. How amazing is that? And so same way, here Bali Maharaj, he became the most glorious person. It's mentioned he became a Mahajan. He is already a Mahajan, but there in the past time it's mentioned because of giving this charity. Imagine like you don't have anything and then you get the whole world and then next moment you have to give it back. You are like, hey, what happened? I had everything and I lost it in a moment. So Bali Maharaj, but Bali Maharaj wasn't like, oh my God, I lost everything. It took so much work to get it and then I lost it again. Imagine like someone become a president of the USA and then next day they find out they are not the president anymore. Someone else took over. So, but Bali wasn't in distress because this happened to him. He was very delighted. He became the most fortunate person. And Vamanadev himself glorifies him. He said that you come from such a great family. Your future guide, your grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, is so glorious. You come from such a lineage. So he glorifies in many ways, but he tells Bali that he was punished because he couldn't fulfill the promise and he was sent to Sutala, and that's where Bali Maharaj rules. That's where the lower beings, the demons, personalities like that, they live on those planets. But those planets are so opulent actually. And Vamanadev, he tells him that I will become your doorman. I will be there guarding your kingdom in Sutala. Imagine the Supreme Lord, he goes to this lower planet just to be a watchman of the kingdom of his devotee. So this is how he is having these transcendental loving exchanges. And when things like that happen, how can one not be attracted? They don't have any other choice. Like here we can see in example of Srila Prabhupada, when the way sometimes Srila Prabhupada did some things, most of us, we have heard this pastime where in the beginning devotees would come with a rose. They would give one rose to Prabhupada and then Prabhupada would give that rose to the next devotee who is coming. So he would exchange roses like this. So it's a simple thing, but to someone who got that rose, that devotee, he cannot forget that. He may go away or do whatever, but he can't forget that Prabhupada gave me this rose. Sometimes I have met people, they tell me, oh, I saw this person. It's a like old person and it's like, I saw this person so many years ago. They are not chanting, they are not doing anything, but they remember, I saw this person at this place. And I was like, wow, what happened? And they still remember. Just recently I met someone and a young person said, I saw this person on a documentary. And it's like, this person is so happy to see that. So these are the books written by this person, and they were so happy to receive the books. So the devotees also, they have that quality because they get the qualities of the Lord. That's why here, in general, you can see people are attracted to people who are very powerful. You see sports persons. When they go, I was reading this pastime, we don't have time to cover that, but this pastime where Krishna enters Mathura with his cowherd friends, and they hear in the morning the sounds of bugles and drums, because Krishna and Balram, they were invited for a wrestling match. And here, Krishna is ready to go for wrestling. Why? Because in Vrindavan forest, they wrestle every day in the forest. This is their sporting activity. So when they hear, they're like excited. Come on, let's get ready. Everyone, all the cowherd boys, they are getting ready. Let's go, man, it's time. And as soon as they go, they see there is a big wild elephant right at the gate. And the elephant keeper, he's like ready to, fire the elephant to attack Krishna and Balaram. But to keep it short, Krishna actually chastises this guy, the elephant keeper. He said, leave the way, we need to pass. Otherwise, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to send you to abode of Yamaraj. And this elephant keeper, he gets so angry and he hit the elephant in a way that he was a mad elephant. He get like really crazy and he wanted elephant to attack. But there is a whole pastime how Krishna plays around with the elephant. He's sporting, Krishna is not afraid of any kind of elephant. But he's sporting. The cowherd boys, they are having great fun watching Krishna how he's doing things. He goes back, holds the elephant's tail, pulls him with the tail, just like he used to pull the calves when he was little. And then he lies down under the trunk, and the elephant thinks he's gonna like kill Krishna with the tusk. So elephant puts the tusk in the earth, and elephant got hurt really bad. But and is like almost about to give up. But the elephant keeper again strikes the elephant, and he goes mad, although he's frustrated, angry, but he aggravates its anger, and elephant goes again. And then Krishna is like playing around with the elephant like that. Then at the end, Krishna holds the trunk and puts him down. He pulls one of the tusks with his hand, and he kills the elephant and the elephant keeper, both of them. But then there is very beautiful description. I will end with that. Otherwise, Sachitanoy Prabhu will say, I got over time. So I had to keep in time. We still have few seconds. I'll be quick. So here, it's a beautiful description here. Leaving the dead elephant aside, Lord Krishna held on the tusk and entered the wrestling arena. With the tusk resting on his shoulder, drops of the elephant's blood and sweat sprinkled all over him, and his lotus face covered with fine drops of his own perspiration. The Lord shone with great beauty. How many of you think this must be very beautiful look of Krishna? Most people, they like to see Krishna holding the flute. But here, Krishna and Balaram, they both have elephant tusks on their shoulders and entering the wrestling arena. Imagine like when you see these days, like these famous football players, they enter the World Cup field, their teams and all these fans, they are like, praising them, encouraging them. And some of them, they just, especially after they win, they just go around like, taking out their shirt, showing around their shirt. Sometimes they throw the shirt and people like run after it. So Krishna actually did the same. When he killed Kamsa, he dragged him around the whole ground, and he was like beating him like anything. It was so amazing. When I was reading, I was like, wow, this is our God. Look how he's having fun. And devotees, they are just different devotees. They are just amazed. What is Krishna doing here? So just one more verse, Prabhu. Then in the next verse, it says, here. He mentions how different people they were seeing Krishna. Because many people in Mathura, they had not seen Krishna, they had only heard about him. And when they see these two young, beautiful boys, and look at that, they are fighting against these giant wrestlers. The wrestlers, Krishna actually said, man, we are so little. It's against the Vedic rules. We should not be wrestling with you guys. What did wrestlers say? Yeah, you are right. We know who you are. What did you do to this elephant? This elephant, practically, he wasn't about to die. Like, no one could deal with this elephant. And look, you just like threw him around like a toy. So the wrestlers, they are having this exchange. But just by these exchanges, Krishna is just attracting so many different kinds of living entities. Here, the various group of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways. When he entered with his elder brother, the wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt. The men of Mathura as the best of males. The women as Cupid in person. The cowherd men as their relative. The impious rulers as a chastiser. His parents as their child. The king of the Bhojas as death. The unintelligent as the Supreme Lord's universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity. So this is Krishna for you. Thank you very much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.